when Alex and I both covered AC as a player, right? When Alex Cora was playing, he was one of those guys where everyone would say, he's going to be a great manager someday, to the point where Cora would be like, I'm kind of tired of guys telling me I'm going to be a great manager. I'd like to keep playing for a while. I enjoy playing the game. You have kind of been thrust into that role a little bit. Mentoring is one thing when you're playing, right? But you've sort of taken on a little bit of a role as an unofficial coach with this group when you've been injured. And you took that really to that other level with the camp this winter, bringing in some young guys and sort of passing on some of the lessons Tulowitzki and others passed on to you, right? So what's that like for you? Like how have you adapted to that? Do you enjoy it? Have there been any aha moments where maybe something you said has manifested itself in a game and you said, there it is. That's exactly what we've been talking about.
Um, it's something that I've embraced, definitely, like you said, over the last few years. I feel like in my last year or so in Colorado, that was something that I made that was going to be important to me. And with like anything else, with time and with experience, you grow into it and you feel more confident in that space. And I think for me, it's the guys are gonna experience is the best teacher. But if I can help with like little recovery stuff, or I've been talking with Duran a lot about that, and just man, I think it goes a long way just to hear from veterans about as young players, like even if the stats aren't going great, like the at bats are going well. Just that affirmation and just um, having the process be what you're really dialed on. I think those are the things that you can really relay and really kind of hammer to the young guys. And because baseball's not fair, man. You're not going to have the results every night, and something you're working on that day, might not show up in the game that night. So just more of like a mentality to where I'm building these up. Game of negativity. I think that's important.
It's actually interesting that you bring up Duran because I think when you were throughout your career, with Colorado, you were one of the most durable players in major leagues, right? Like you were a guy who wanted to post seemingly 162 from afar. What is it like watching Jarren Duran having played every game of the season so far? And do you think he can do 162?
Man, I love it. He's my favorite player, man. I love watching JD. He just ignites the team. I feel like he, with all the triples, I think he's leading the league in triples, and his at bats are really good. He doesn't really throw away at bats. He just brings a lot of energy to the club with his speed, stealing bases, running around in the outfield. And yeah, he's young. He's what, 27 maybe. He can play 162. He just runs so hard, man. He runs angry, and I think you just gotta, that was a big thing for us in Colorado. We were trying to recover as best as we could, and it's a little easier to do in Boston, without the thin air. But it's something you have to be really diligent about, and those are the things that we've talked about, is because those are the type of players we want to be, and that's what it's important to JD to go out there and play every day and be a tone setter. So you got to do the things off the field, after the game, before the game, so that you're available.
So it would have been harder to play at altitude, just like on the physical toll. But how many triples would Jarren Duran hit if Coors Field was his home instead of a place where the left field wall was 310 to left?
I mean, yeah, he'd have at least five more. That's the thing about Coors that a lot of people don't realize, is the outfield is so big.
Yeah.
So much space, so much green grass that man, if you get it by the outfielder, like he can go three every time.
No doubt about that. I want to ask you about the pitching, even though you're not necessarily working with the. How amazed have you been by what this group has been able to do? I mean, we call it the Andrew Bailey effect, call it what you want, right? But it's been the right voice at the right time. You said you're watching the roller coaster along with us. Have you been as amazed as we have at what this pitching staff's been able to do?
I have, man. It's been incredible to watch. Like you said, it's not much of a huge change in personnel player wise. It's been a kind of an overhaul, I guess, in the strategy of how we're doing it. And obviously Bailey and a lot of our analytic guys have a lot to do with that. And it seems like it kind of started there at the end of last year. I feel like we were onto the kind of onto the scent there. And I think, man, the way that they've overhauled that and just made it a strength of our club has been fun to watch, because that's been something that hasn't been the case, obviously, in the last couple of years. But yeah, just super pumped, to see guys like Hauk take a huge step, and the way he just has that presence about him, and just he's going 6 or 7 every night, it feels like, and possibly the whole game. So that's fun to watch.
One guy I did want to ask you about is Marcelo Meyer, and I know you guys, started the connection when you were up there rehabbing, right? And I know that he stayed in pretty close touch with you, and he's really, watching him play healthy this year has been something special. What's the ceiling? I mean, what are we going to see someday from Marcelo Meyer?
Yeah, that's it's so key to know in your mind and in your heart that you're healthy. And I think we're seeing that kind of come to fruition with Marcelo. He did it the right way. He went about his rehab and did his thing, man. So props to him for doing that and taking his time there. And you can just see he's advanced, man. He's just super comfy at the plate. I love his swing. I love just his whole approach there. He's hitting line drives. He's not hitting like towering home runs or beating the ball on the ground. He hits the ball on the line a lot, and I think that's a sign of a really good hitter. And he's just smooth, man. It seems like the game goes slow for him, and that's always a good sign.